Brad from Jacksonville, Florida. Why do we think LSU is so good? They barely beat Auburn and Arkansas. They got handled by a mediocre Texas A&M team to end the regular season. This is what we call a classic recalibration of expectation special. Last year, we were going into the season, this time of year. Everyone thought LSU was going to struggle. The over-under win total was in the 6 or 6.5 range. So then they started to win. And so people like, for example, Brad, they forgot about that. They forgot about the starting point. And all of a sudden, they looked back and they start holding LSU to this different standard at the end of the year. LSU had very average expectations. Well, all of a sudden, they exceed the expectations, and then you want to hold them to a different standard. LSU should not be held to a 10-win standard in year one. What you should be doing is you should be looking at it and saying, how seriously should I be taking LSU because they accomplished all this? You're talking about, they won close against these teams. They should have been losing those games. They had a first-year coach. History says they're supposed to be losing those games. So they won them, and they beat Alabama, and we're sitting here saying, why should we take them seriously? Well, I'll tell you why I take them seriously. That little year one performance, that little year one stunt they pulled off, screams to me they may be ahead of schedule. And number two, they have recruited a top 10 class. They've recruited a top 10 portal class. They've got a really good quarterback room, and they're very sure of where they're headed. I don't have to look at Brian Kelly, in other words, and wonder whether he can duplicate what he did in year one. Did they just catch lightning in a bottle? No. He's not 32 years old. He's not a rookie head coach. His process is proven. It's going to continue to bear out results that you like down there. They had come off back-to-back years where they were sub 500. And all of a sudden they go 10-4 and they win the West out of nowhere. So you can either look at that one of two ways. You can say, who cares? They got smoked by Georgia and Atlanta. Or you can say, wow, LSU made it to Atlanta in year one. The latter is the attitude that's logical. The former, that's the recalibration of expectation. That's like if I walk in the gym and you bet me that I can't bench 225. And then all of a sudden I warm up with 275. And I tell you, I think I'm going to go for 315 today. And I put 315 on the bar and I get it down and I start to push it up. And then it gets a little sideways and, I need help. Spotter, racket. You could either say, wow, I was so off on guessing 225. Or you could say, bro, you couldn't even get 315. Like, what makes more sense? Really? Who should be criticized more in that scenario, me or you? So I think LSU is going to be really good this year. I think that they obviously play in the biggest week one game in the country. Are people ready, by the way? Are people prepared for LSU versus Florida State to be a top 10 matchup? Because that's absolutely going to be the case. Are we ready for that? Are you ready to go into that bye week in late October and have that LSU at Alabama game be just monstrous like it had been throughout most of the decade of the 20-teens? Are we ready to see a visiting Texas A&M come into Death Valley, maybe with Jimbo Fisher having resurrected Texas A&M's chances, and so that game has just premier importance placed on it? Are we ready? LSU also plays Army this year, just out of nowhere. So there's that. I don't know why you wouldn't think LSU is good. I don't know why you wouldn't. I think you're setting yourself up for heartbreak if you think that team's about to fall off or they shouldn't be taken all that seriously.